And you've just heard Paralysed, the new single from Swiss Portrait, which will be out on the 18th of February. And I'm delighted to be joined by the man behind Swiss Portrait, Michael K. Terence. Hello, Michael.
Hiya, nice to meet you. How are you?
And I'm very well, thank you. So what can you tell us about Paralysed?
Well, it's the first song of my new EP, Safe House, that'll be coming out in April this year. What else do you want to know?
I know it's a terrible question. It's interesting that people like me ask musicians, "What can you tell us about the single?" And often you say, "Well, just listen to it. You decide, what it is." Well, let's talk about your music more generally. I can see a couple of guitars behind you there. Is it kind of DIY music that you're doing? Is it kind of from your own home?
Yeah. It's literally from this computer right now, and my pedal board is right down here, and my amp. And yeah, I do it all in here. I'll see if I can move. That's where, you can't see anything, but yeah, that's it. Where over in this section over here is where I have all my other amps and not amps, but basses and keyboards and things. Yeah, but yeah, it's just a DIY. I do it all myself, and I just learned it on the go, and didn't really just watched YouTube videos and figured out how to do stuff. Because maybe I'll tell you that before lockdown, I didn't actually record a single song ever. I'm a contemporary artist. I went to art school and stuff like that, and I did sculpture and video art. And then I had two major shows that were cancelled that were in national galleries. That would have been like, I think it was meant to happen. One of them was meant to be in May, and one of them was meant to be in June of 2020, but that got cancelled. And then so I was bored at home, so I just said, I'll just try and write some songs. So I just learned. I basically never recorded anything before that, and then just learned whilst sitting at home.
You're the second person I've spoken to. Last week we had Beer Jacket on as Artist of the Week, and he had never produced his own stuff before, and that's exactly what he went on to YouTube and kind of learned the different ways of doing it. So it's interesting that it's easier now, I suppose, than ever before, not just with equipment, but also finding out that you're getting the skills to do it that way.
100%. It's like, it's just quite fun to do it yourself as well. There's less pressure. You can just sit and do whatever you want as well. There's no I think I was in bands before, and I remember paying for studio time or something, and then having to try and sort something out within 3 hours. And there's just so much. It's so hectic, and I don't think I could do it again. I think it would be too much pressure, because I like to just. I think as well, if anyone was to record me, they would go mad, because I played the same thing about 50 times before I actually like the bit that I've just played. So, but it's fun to do. Yeah, it's it's an interesting way to do things as well. And when you make your own mistakes, it's like you don't really mind, because you've made them and not someone else. But yeah.
But you've been quite prolific as well, because you had an album out and you've had other singles out too. So it must have been something that you really took to quickly.
Yeah, it was quite fun. I think the first single I put out a wee EP that was it was for Bandcamp, and it was really lo-fi sounding and things like that. And it was just really me learning how to use all the equipment and how to use things. And then I made a song called These Days that I put out in August or something in 2020 or 20. Yeah, would it be 2020? Yeah, it'd be 2020. And that was the first one of the music that I'm making now. And it's it was really quite fun. I had no intentions ever to make this a thing. It was literally just I was doing it, waiting for things to go back to normal, and it was so I just started writing songs and then just putting them out whenever I wanted, because I found online that you can put songs onto Spotify on your own, and you don't need anyone to help you put them out. You can pay £20 a year to have them uploaded to Spotify, and I was like, well, that's fair enough. I don't mind. I'll do that. And then yeah, so that's why it was like I had no one really to answer to as well. I could just put a song out whenever I wanted. So I was like, this is sick. So I just was just putting out songs whenever I wanted. And then other things came across where people like I got involved with a wee DIY label called, well, not wee, it's quite big, but it's called Z Tapes. They're from Slovakia. Well, I think they've moved to Lyon now, but the guy who runs Z Tapes was a person called Philip, and he asked me if I wanted to make an album and put it out in cassette, and I was like, okay. So I was like, that was after the song that I made called Find My Way. And yeah, so that's basically how I ended up making my last albums, because someone just asked me if I wanted to, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a bash.
And you said the first song you did was kind of lo-fi, and then you can hear we've just heard Paralyzed, the kind of production is developing and stuff. I mean, how far do you take this? Is it going to be like Queen by the end of it? You know, layers and layers of guitar.
Oh gosh, that'd be so funny. I've always desperately wanted to add in like horns, like a saxophone or trombone, or like even strings and stuff like that at one point. That'd be pretty cool. But because the first instrument I learned was a trombone, because my granddad was in the British brass band.
Oh wow!
And yeah, I learned that, and he didn't teach me it, but I learned in school. But yeah, it was quite funny. So yeah, I want to try and add that. I don't have one anymore because they cost an absolute fortune. But like, yeah, it would be quite I'll give that a bash, see what happens.
Yeah, fantastic. Looking forward to the trombone solo on one of these. But actually, it raises an interesting point, because are you going to be touring your songs? You're going to you've been live, haven't you? You've played them live.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, we're playing a lot of gigs coming up, but they're not consecutive enough to be like we're on tour,
right?
Because like it's just trying to like that's maybe something that would be cool to have someone help me get to the next stage, would be like someone who could actually help me organize a tour, because I have no idea how to do that. And like just emailing places and then trying to see like, can we play here? Most of the time they're like, yeah, but like trying to get them in consecutive dates just like seems mad. So hopefully one day in the future we can go on a proper tour.
If someone's listening to this who does such things, they might be able to help you out. But it's interesting though that these songs were all written, produced, released from your bedroom. How did you envision making the jump to doing them live?
I winged it. I just said I just asked my friends. I asked my friend Brett, who plays in Community Swimming Pool, and I asked two other friends who don't play in the band now, but they helped quite a lot in the beginning. A boy called Leo and a boy called Sam, and I ended up just asking them to come and help play. And Brett hilariously played drums straight away, which was like, he doesn't play guitar. He stands in the middle of the stage now and goes mad and playing guitar because he's really good at guitar. But yeah, so I just asked some friends, and then Brett helped a lot because he knew Andy, who plays drums, and he knows Karen, who plays bass now. And yeah, it just seems to work quite well. They're not like the most difficult songs to learn, but there's a lot you can do with them live. And I think we do get quite, they're quite more energetic and a wee bit more beefy live. And I think that's probably because there's not like the kind of lo-fi DIY take on recording sort of like goes out the window when you play live, because it's with like more expensive amps and things like that. So like your lo-fi shoddy recording is like thrown out the window. And yeah, so you can get like a different sound, but I think it's quite good because people get quite excited when they see us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, having things like a live rhythm section and as you say, people playing live instruments adds that kind of already, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's a good way of doing it because you could have gone just yourself and your laptop or whatever and done them exactly the same as they are recorded. But I think it's really good that you've taken it out and are kind of reimagining them for a live setting. Yeah.
Well, hilariously, before I released these days, my art friends, in that small period of time between when we were going to remember how like in 2020, I think it was in August, whereas everything was like almost going to be like going back to normal.
Yep.
And we had all that. There was like a moment where we were going to do, there was my friends Alex and Abby and a place apart from Alex, who is an artist called Smex, who did a Leaf Late Live thing. It was like meant to be a festival type thing. So we did it outside at the Policeman's Box in Leith,
right,
which is like a wee area. And we had like a little show, and I went down and played with my laptop and guitar. And it was fun to do, but when I afterwards I was saying like I'll never do that again like that, because I want to. I like seeing bands big and live and stuff so. Seeing them seeing a drummer hitting a drum, if you know what I mean, there's and having that power behind it live is just, it adds so much more than just an electric drum kit, or not even an electric drum kit, but like just a pre-recorded drum. So, yeah.
No, I completely agree with you. And so it was interesting. I went to your website to kind of prepare for this, and I ended up playing solitaire for ages, which is fantastic. It's been a long time since I've done that. But it made me think about the changing nature of having an online presence for a musician or for an artist, actually. Has it kind of moved away from having websites, your own website? Is it mainly kind of social media now? How have things changed?
Yeah, well, I remember, my friend Paul made me my website, and he did a course online he changed his job. He designed trusts before. During lockdown, he decided he wanted to become like I don't really know what he does, but I won't tell him that. But he does computer things. Right. So, but yeah, he wanted to design a website. So I was like, yeah, go on, crack on, you can do mine. But yeah, totally with the online presence of art and things, it seems to be that it's all has to be on social media, and especially things like Instagram and ones like that, where even a lot of the time when you apply for opportunities and things like that, they like to see that you have an online presence, and things like that. And I hate posting selfies so much, and I cringe at it so hard, and having to I grit my teeth every time I think about it, and I go and try and do one, and I'm like, this is the worst. So but you kind of have to do it, and it's the worst. But it's just you just have to do it. But with art, it's slightly different. You can just post a picture of your artwork, whereas people for some reason like to see your face when you do music, and I don't know why.
To kind of identify maybe it's interesting because you have got the name Swiss Portrait. I suppose you could have gone full kind of who's this person, it just made me think that, running a website myself, you think, is this are we moving away from people even visiting websites anymore? And are they purely wanting smaller chunks of information and smaller chunks of, pictures and whatever?
Yeah. I think, I think my website hilariously gets quite a lot of views and things like that because of solitaire. So,
I think it's a great trick. I might stick it on mine as well, just to get people have got something to do if they don't like what they're reading. It's superb.
Actually, hilariously, the whole thing about calling it Swiss Portrait as well was that because I didn't want any of my friends to know it was me.
Yeah.
And then that's the reason it was called Swiss Portrait. I was like, I'll just call it that, and then no one will know it's me if it's absolutely rubbish.
So when did you decide to kind of say, by the way, see that's me?
Yeah, well, I I got married in lockdown, so my wife now, she convinced me to like go on, just tell people it's quite good. The words were quite good as well, so so yeah, I was like, oh right, no worries, I'll do that. So yeah, so yeah, it's all Josie's fault. Yeah.
And with Safe House coming out, do you have plans further than that, or is that kind of what you're concentrating on at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I have plans, but I'm not allowed to say the plans.
Fair enough.
Yet. But the plan. So I'll tell you. The EP Safe House is coming out. It will come out in cassette. With an American label called Spirit Goth, who I'm really chuffed with because I love all the bands on their label and things like that. It's basically my cup of tea. Right. And then yeah, so that'll come out like that. I want to try and take out in vinyl, a small vinyl, because that'll be quite cool. I got asked so many times about my Familiar Patterns coming out in vinyl, but it just it just wasn't going to happen. I think by the time my one was ready to start to get developed, I think the backlog of all the other vinyls was just so bad. Yeah, so like that never happened. But yeah, I think Safe House will get made into a small vinyl anyway, at least.
Excellent.
A small run. So it'll be quite exciting, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And you mentioned right at the beginning that your exhibitions had been cancelled due to are they going to be resurrected? Are you going to do some of your own art soon?
Yeah, so I've got my first exhibition back in May. Is it May? It'll be April. No, it's actually April as well, which is not good timing. But it's at Stirling Smith Museum and Art Gallery. Right. So I've got a solo show there, which will be the first one back since lockdown happened and things like that. And yeah, it'll be interesting. My art's quite separate, so we'll keep it separate. But it's quite different from. People might see that and go, "Oh God, I don't know if I like Swiss portrait anymore." But yeah, it's I used to blow up a lot of stuff. That was like I spent in art school. Like I used to make like paint bombs and stuff like that. And I did a talk at the art school after I graduated, and they said to me, "Michael, please don't tell anyone how you make your paint bombs, because we'll get into trouble." And I was like, okay, I won't say a word. But yeah, it's but it's quite different. But yeah.
In fact, that sounds fascinating. Actually, that sounds fascinating. Michael, thanks so much for taking the time to have a chat. I really do appreciate it. And having heard the EP, it sounds fantastic. People should be looking out for it when it comes out.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, no problem at all. And this is Swiss Portrait and previous single, Today.